Hey guys, welcome back to Tekkit and another tutorial. So last time I showed you how to make this cobblestone generator, and whilst it's pretty cool, it's also pretty slow. So you'd have to have row upon row upon row of these things, and it can make things lag, you know. So this tutorial I'll show you how to make one of these bad boys, and this is a milking machine, and this is another one. This is a little bit better, although not really much. There's just one more milking machine instead of, so this has 4 milking machines, that has 5, but also makes it much more ugly. So we're just gonna go with 4. So what do we need for this? Well, let me just plonk down a crafting bench. Let's make it here. That looks good. So what do we need? Well, we don't need any lava, we don't need water, we don't need paintbrushes. So what we do need is a lot of redstone tubes. We need a timer again. Again, very short. This is how you make timers. So stone wafers, and then you combine stone wafer with some redstone to make the wires. Combine it with more redstone for the anodes. With a redstone torch for the cathode, and stone and a redstone torch for the pointer, and a stone wafer is made with stone, so cooked stone and then cook it again. Easy. And if you don't know how to make that, just look at my other tutorials. Don't want to go over that again. So redstone tube is pneumatic tube and redstone, pneumatic tube is brass and glass. Cool. So now that we have that out of the way, what do we need? Well, we need a whole lot of buckets. So that's why I'm sort of emptying my inventory, because we're gonna need a lot of buckets to start with, just to speed up the initial process. So there we go. Very nice, very nice. Now what else do we need? We need some covers. So I showed you how to make these covers before, and let's just use a very obvious color. Let's do ruby. Yeah. So what you do is you get your handsaw and you combine it with a ruby block or a dirt block, doesn't matter, and you do that a couple of times. So you make anything that comes out here, you put it under it again and again and again until you get these covers. So once you have these covers, you just put them in inventory. We don't need it yet, but we will. So we don't need redstone. We need some jacketed wires. Now these are very easy to make. You can again make them with any block possible almost. So let's get some ruby ones, because we have ruby block covers. So you don't need many of these, maybe 10, 15, we'll see. So you make these by using the covers that we made earlier in a hollow square with a red alloy ingot in the middle. Or you can use stone covers and red alloy ingot in the middle. Easy. So we need those as well. Now we also need some filters, and I'll show you what these do later, but I'll just show you how to make it first. So what we need for that is we need some cobblestone, some gold ingots, a piston, and a red dope wafer. Now this thing is made by combining a silicon wafer and some redstone in the alloy furnace. And the silicon wafer is made by some silicon buhl and a handsaw. That makes 16 of them. So you only have to really make one. And the buhl's made also in the alloy furnace with some coal and some sand. So pretty easy, to be honest. And you need, let's see, you need 2 for every milker. So we're gonna need 8. But we'll just get all of them because we can. Phew. Okay, now the next thing we need excuse me, is a deployer, and we need 4 of those. Now the deployer is a machine that, how should I explain that? It pretty much right clicks whenever it gets a redstone signal. So if you put a tube in there, for example, it just right clicks and places it in front of it. If you put anything, if you can put anything in it. So if you put some spawners in there, that works. You can put buckets of water in there, it'll spawn water, etc. So we need the deployers, and these are made very cheaply, so that's good. Cobblestone on the sides, a chest, a piston, and a redstone dust. So nice. Very, very good. So we need 4 of those. Or 5 if you go with a more complicated design. So yeah, now we can get started. So first off, what you want to do is, should I make this off the ground or on the ground? I'll make it on the ground, it's easier. Is put your deployers in a small circle like that. And we're going to put empty buckets in here. And what this will do is, these empty buckets will be used on the redstone signal, and the cow will be in the middle here. And when a empty bucket is used on a cow, it creates milk. And the milk gets back in here. So, the next thing you want to do is put your filters on top of them, like that. Because as soon as the cow is milked, the milk will get into the deployer, but we don't want it here. So we pull that out with a filter. So we put a milk bucket in here so that it only gets the milk buckets out of the deployer, not the normal buckets. And they'll get pulled up. So for that we need the screwdriver. Just point them up. Nice. And we need a cow. So as most of you probably noticed, in my playthrough I spent about 15 minutes getting a cow. But here we can do it easier, of course. So let's get a cow. You just need a single one. It doesn't die or anything, so it's a bit of a pain to get at start, but it works. So cool. Cow in the middle. Haha. So this poor cow is going to get milked for his life. So then we connect all these up, and I'll just make it a bit bigger than I normally do, just to make it a bit more clear as how it works. So these all connect together, and they go up. Excuse me. And then we're gonna have to get some buckets, and this is a pain. Yeah, buckets. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 buckets for 4 deployers, and 4 more because we're gonna have 4 more filters later on. I'll show you. And we need some milk, and we only need 4 milk to start with. So you can just use the buckets on a cow yourself if you want. So okay, so all the deployers at the bottom. Let me make it daytime. You put an empty bucket in there. Every single deployer. Like that. And all the filters on top, we put the milk. Like that. So what that does is, as soon as this deployer uses this bucket to create milk, the bucket will disappear and milk will get here, and the filter will pull the milk out up into this pipe system. So to get that going, we are going to need a condenser, and you're gonna need 2 of these. Condenser. So you know how to make these, I'm guessing, so I'll just spawn 2 in, but I'll show you. So it's just obsidian in the corners, some diamonds around it, and an alchemical chest, which is made with some covalence dust. Just check my other tutorials if you want to see how that's made. Cool. So the first condenser, we're gonna put, actually let me change this a little bit just to make it even easier for you to see. Plop. We'll make this too high. Put one of the condensers on top. Now this condenser is going to have to make normal buckets. Just plain old normal buckets, and we do need 1 more bucket. I was wrong. Buckets. There we go. So now we have 4 buckets left. So far, this deployer is going to make milk. The filter is going to pull the milk out, put it back into the condenser, and the condenser is going to make normal buckets out of it again. Now, why does this work? Well, a milk bucket is worth more EMC than a normal bucket, so you'll have excess. So when this all fills up with normal buckets, this is going to be full. So once it gets full, we want to sort of, I'll just do this the ugly way. Should I do that? Yeah, let's do this. So this one is closer, so the filters are going to try and put it in here, but once this is full, because it's going to overflow, it's going to put it in another condenser. So we can sort of maybe here. Is that ooh, maybe not. We can, but it just makes it more difficult. Let's just, for the heck of it, pull it out here. And this one is going to make whatever you want. So let's have it make some some red matter. I mean that's gonna take. Let's not. That's gonna take too long. Now this thing is really fast. The milking machine. It's much faster than a cobble generator. It's even faster than energy collectors, until you get to energy collector level Mark III, which is very expensive. So let's get a diamond. Put a diamond in there. Cool. So we did that. Now we saw that the deployer gets the empty buckets and it makes it into milk, but then it doesn't have any buckets anymore. So we somehow need to connect this condenser that's making buckets back up to the deployers. Now that's quite easy. I just do it this way because I think it looks better, but you don't have to. I just go out like that. You can hook this up any way you want. There's really not a best way of doing it. This is just my preference. Now, before that, I should actually do this. So the last 4 filters we have, you put on here, like that. Bloop. Yep. And then we have to make them point in the right direction. That would be very nice. So they have to point towards the energy collector. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and now we need. Oh, damn it! Now we need to put our remaining empty buckets in there because we don't want it to take out the milk buckets. Cool. So these filters, when they get a redstone signal, they're gonna pull out. Oh, missed. They're gonna pull out the empty buckets, and we want to put those buckets in here. So, oh, that's a bit annoying. It's 1. This one goes that way. Yep. It starts to rain again. Wow. Get out. Now, the reason I'm going like out here and then back in there is just aesthetics. I just like the look of it. So as you can see, this hooks up, which is not what we want. So we just put some covers in there, and that stops these pipes from connecting. You don't have to use covers for it, but it's nicer. Oh, and also here, of course, because we don't want the milk to go into this filter. So, no, there we go. So easy. Doesn't look, you know, doesn't look great, but it works. And I think we have to do one more, don't we? Yep, one more. So easy enough. Toot, toot, toot. Hook that up. Oh, yeah. So that's pretty much done now. This is making empty buckets. That's making our diamonds. The empty buckets are going to be sucked down into deployers. The deployers are going to make milk out of it by milking this poor cow. The filters are going to suck the milk out into this condenser, and once it gets full, it's going to create diamonds for us. How easy is that? So the only thing that's left now is to give redstone power to everything. Now there's a little small trick to do this in a nice way, I think. So we pretty much have 2 separate systems going here. We have this that needs to be powered, this sort of pad here with all these filters, and then we need to power all these filters here. So there's many ways that you can do this, but I find the nicest way is by connecting them together, and I'll show you that. But first, let's put it on a timer. It really doesn't matter where, so let's put it here. And do we have any? Okay, let's get some. Again, I'm gonna do it the ugly way, but feel free to make it nicer. Ta-da. Now this is already working, so this should have milk now, yes. Now this is not working yet because it doesn't get power because each of these is separate. So the way I fix that is by connecting all these top layers together, just like that, and it sort of makes a nice sort of square. Now I know you can make it a lot smaller, but you know, this will do. So now all these deployers should not work. Why aren't you working? Huh? That's weird. Anyways, we'll look at that. Let's first connect this up as well. There's some weird stuff going on, so let's make this a bit faster and see what happens. It's weird. See, all these two are working, but those two are not. So could it be maybe that this signal over this redstone is not good enough? So let's try that, shall we? Because I've always done it sort of in a nicer way. So let's make some red alloy wires. Well, not really make them, but does that work? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I didn't know that. Cool. So as you can see, these things made the milk, pull it out, and now empty buckets are going to be sent down. Now because there's nothing in this condenser, so there's not enough buckets yet, it's going to be very slow. You don't have to do anything. You can let this run for an hour and it'll be at top speed after the hour. But if you want to speed it up, there's just an easy way of doing it. Is just add something of value in here, like an energy condenser or something, and it'll just start the process up a bit faster. So as you can see, all these buckets are moving now, which is pretty awesome. Looks great. So let's put a little bit more in there. Can we? Do we have some more interesting, expensive stuff? No, don't want to answer the phone now. Sorry. Cool. So now that this is going, this condenser will fill up completely, and we're just going to speed the process up for this tutorial. And sorry for my phone being a pain. So let's put some diamonds in there, you know. Plop. There we go. So that has plenty. This will stay full for a while. So all the excess milk is now going to be pulled along this line into this condenser, making diamonds for us. And it doesn't look fast, but every single milk bucket is worth about 800 EMC, so you only need about 10 of them for each diamond. So once this gets going really fast, and you're gonna have to do that yourself, this will make a load of diamonds for you, much faster than the cobblestone generator. As you can see, it really jumps. So yeah, that's the milk creator, and it looks pretty awesome as well. It's awesome to look at. Now if you do want to add a 5th milk machine, just add another filter on top here, pull that out, pull empty buckets down under the ground to that one, and I'll just make it daytime so I can show you here. Now this is a bit ugly, but it works. So as you can see, I've got another filter. My energy condenser is in the bottom there, another filter that sort of leads down all the way into the ground, and there's another deployer, if you can see it somewhere down here. So that's how that works. But this is a much nicer system, and it's not much slower. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.